So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time within 30 minutes. The idea is very simple. We want you to cover your current affairs and we want you to cover them on a daily basis. But we don't want you to spend your entire day just reading the newspaper. Therefore, we will finish off the day's current affairs within 30 minutes. Now, just watching this lecture in 30 minutes would be job half done, because just after watching it, you need to spend some time revising this lecture. Why? Well, revision helps in consolidating these current affairs in your memory. Otherwise, you'll quickly forget them. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided by us, and these notes shall be shared on our Telegram platform. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section just below this video. Okay then, let's begin today's session. But first, let's take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today. So in total, we'll be covering these three topics because these are the only three topics that are important from the perspective of civil services examination. Number one in this list is early onset of monsoon. As you all know, you must have read about it, that monsoon has arrived way too early, earlier than the predicted date. Okay, so what were the factors behind this early onset of monsoons? And what do we mean by onset of monsoons? We'll talk about both these things in this first topic. Then recently, NITI Aayog has come out with a report and it says that we need to come out with a concessional loan scheme for medium enterprises. As you all know, there are smaller enterprises like micro, small and medium enterprises, MSME. So NITI Aayog has said that we need to take care of these medium enterprises because they have a lot of requirements and they are suffering right now. So what is this concessional loan scheme? What are medium enterprises? What are the issues that they are facing? We'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll talk about China's Tanwen 2 mission. Basically, this mission is a sample return mission. So China is going to launch a spacecraft which will land on an asteroid, near Earth asteroid, collect some samples and return them back to Earth. So it's a very ambitious mission. Okay, so we'll talk about this mission. All right. So these are the three topics that we shall zero in our attention on. Let's start discussing them one by one, starting with topic number one, that is early onset of monsoons. So IMD declared monsoon onset over Kerala on May 24th. So monsoon in India starts from Kerala. Okay, so whenever there is this first monsoon shower on Kerala, we say that the monsoon has arrived. Now generally the date for monsoon's arrival in Kerala is 1st June. So monsoon starts in India on 1st June. But this time around, the monsoons have reached Kerala on May 24. And May 25, they reached even Mumbai also. Okay. The onset marks the beginning of the 4-month June to September southwest monsoon season over India, which brings 70% of the country's annual rainfall. The last time that monsoon arrived so early in Kerala was in 2009, and that was on May 23rd. Okay. Now, first of all, we need to know what do we mean by onset of monsoon. So, during the monsoon months or during the month of June, whenever there is this rainfall or whenever there are showers on Kerala, we call it monsoon. Is that so? So, whenever there is rainfall in the month of June, do we call it monsoon, or there is a specific criteria to identify whether this rainfall has occurred because of monsoon? Okay. So there is a proper definition given by Indian Meteorological Department as to what qualifies as onset of monsoon. Okay. So criteria for onset. First of all, there are around 14 weather stations, okay, meteorological stations in Kerala and Lakshadweep. If 60% of them have recorded more than 2.5 mm of rainfall for 2 consecutive days in the month of June or around that time, then we say, this is criteria number one, then we say monsoon has arrived. Then second criteria, okay, and this is also important, westerlies. For the onset, the depth of westerly winds should be maintained at up to 600 hectopascal. This is the atmospheric pressure. Okay, so westerlies are these upper atmosphere winds. Okay, and they blow between 30° north latitude to 60° north latitude. If westerlies are blowing and they have a depth of around in the atmosphere, I mean they blow very high in the sky, okay, but if they go lower, okay, and they maintain this depth at around 600 hectopascal atmospheric pressure, the height at which the atmospheric pressure is 600 hectopascals, then we say that it is monsoon. And the third reason is outgoing long wave radiation. Now look, our planet basically absorbs solar radiation, okay, it becomes hot, and then the surface of Earth or the lower layer of the atmosphere, the particles that are floating in the lower layer of atmosphere, well, when they become hot, they also emit heat when they cool down. The heat emitted by them is known as outgoing long wave radiation. Now during monsoon months, basically the weather is cloudy, okay, and that is why the surface of the Earth doesn't become that hot. So the heat emitted by them when they cool down is also not that high. So we say it is monsoon when outgoing long wave radiation is lower than 200 watts per square meter. So when there is a decline in outgoing long wave radiation, which is very high during the months of summers, okay, when this radiation emitted by hot objects on Earth, they decline, well, that means it is cloudy weather, and that means that monsoon has arrived. So once all these three criteria are met, then we say that the monsoon has arrived. Okay. Apart from these criteria, if there is normal rainfall, well, then that is not monsoon showers. That is normal rainfall. Now the question is, the due date for monsoon in Kerala is 1st June. But this time around, monsoon arrived in the month of May. So what are the reasons behind this early onset? Okay. So first of all, it is Madden-Julian oscillation. As you can see in this picture, this is a Madden-Julian oscillation. Okay. This is basically a cycle of air. So there is low pressure, winds rise and they go travel few kilometers and then they descend, high pressure. Now this cycle is traveling eastwards. Okay. So if during the months of monsoon, if monsoon is about to arrive and this Madden-Julian oscillation, this also arrives at the west coast of India. So it pushes monsoon winds quickly towards the west coast. Monsoon winds would have arrived later, but this Madden-Julian oscillation, this cycle that is moving eastward, it pushes monsoon winds quicker to the west coast of India, and then monsoon breaks on Kerala. So this time around it was because of Madden-Julian oscillation. Then there is this another phenomena called Mascarene high. Okay, now what is Mascarene high? Look, as you can see on this map, this is southern Indian Ocean. Alright, now on the southern Indian Ocean, there is this island of Madagascar and there are a few islands. There is an island of Mascarene in the southern Indian Ocean. When very high pressure develops in this area, then winds start to blow in this direction. Okay, and it pushes monsoon winds also towards the west coast of India, and you see that monsoon winds are gaining speed and they quickly arrive at the west coast. So higher the pressure on the Mascarene Islands, quicker the monsoon would arrive. Okay, so Mascarene high, then Somali jet stream. Okay, so these Somali jet streams are upper atmosphere winds, okay, that originate in this Somalia region, okay, and they move eastward. So when they move eastwards, well, the clouds that are forming over the Arabian Sea, they push them towards the west coast of India, Kerala, Maharashtra, and monsoon arrives quickly. Okay, then there are a few other reasons as well, like convection, monsoon trough. Monsoon trough is the low pressure area that is developing over here. Okay, if there is a strong low pressure area, then the speed of monsoon winds would also increase. And heat low. Heat low is again because of high heat in this area. High heat in this area, well, there is low pressure and it also sucks in monsoon winds quickly. Clear? So you learn about these factors in your geography classes, but I'm just giving you a brief idea that these were the few reasons because of which monsoon arrived quickly. Okay, that's about it. So you need to gather two things from this news item. That is, one, what is the definition of onset, and what are the factors behind early onset? Okay. Now let's move on to second news item, which is concessional loan scheme for medium enterprises. So a new report by Niti Aayog has proposed a concessional loan scheme for India's medium-sized enterprises. The title of the report was Designing a Policy for Medium Enterprises, and this report gave few recommendations. First recommendation was, well, there should be a loan scheme so that easy loans are available to medium enterprises. Then streamlining of research and development so that technology can be adopted. Expanding cluster-based quality testing facilities. So, testing facilities, lab facilities for the products that these medium enterprises manufacture. It should be expanded. And these medium enterprises should become more export competitive to increase India's exports. Okay, so these are the few things that this report outlined to help medium enterprises. But first of all, we need to know what are medium enterprises. So you can look at this chart. Okay. Now, this gives you a classification of micro, small and medium enterprises. Okay. Now, this is the old, the orange portion. Okay. This is an older criteria. This is the new criteria. Okay. Now, as per the new criteria, well, micro enterprises are whose investment is less than 2.5 crore and annual turnover is less than 10 crore. Medium enterprises, similarly, there are small enterprises. Medium enterprises are those whose investment limit is less than 25 crore, more than 25 crore. Okay, so between 25 to 125, and their turnover is between 100 to 500. Okay, so these are medium enterprises. And government has done a lot for micro enterprises. Government does a lot for, there are so many schemes for small enterprises, but in this entire process, well, medium enterprises, they are sometimes ignored. Okay, and this is what the Niti Aayog report highlights also. Niti Aayog report says that medium enterprises are suffering from various issues. First of all, well, there is this thing called priority sector lending in the banking sector. Okay, so 40% of the loans given by all banks in India should be towards priority sectors. Now, one priority sector is MSME. Okay, now within MSME, okay, the report says that most of the priority sector loans go to micro and small enterprises and they rarely reach medium enterprises. So this is one problem because of which medium enterprises are starved of credit. Okay, they do not get enough loans. Then their loans are also expensive. The interest rates for medium enterprises are on average 4% higher than larger companies. So companies which are larger than medium enterprises, they receive loans at lower interest rate as compared to medium enterprises. Plus, as far as research and development is concerned, 81% of all research and development done by MSME is done by medium. Okay, not micro and small, medium. Therefore, loan requirements of medium is quite high because they do most of R&D. Plus, they employ a lot of people also. Average employment per entity is higher in medium. It is 89 people per medium enterprise, whereas it is 18 for small and 6 for micro. So their employment requirements are high, R&D requirements are high, therefore they need loans. Okay. Now, what are the recommendations given by Niti Aayog? Okay. So first of all, they say that there should be a dedicated financing scheme under Ministry of MSME that allows medium firms to avail loans at concessional rates. Okay. The limit to that loan would be 25 crore with a maximum of 5 crore per request. Okay. Then there should be a medium enterprise credit card. So the owners of this company should be given a credit card. Okay. So that they can avail loans, pre-approved loans up to 5 crore. Then to boost research and development, they should be given funding from Self-Reliant India Fund. Okay. Now what is Self-Reliant India Fund? We'll talk about it. And micro small enterprises cluster development program should be launched so that quality testing labs are available in clusters and they could be hired by medium enterprises for testing their products. Okay. Now about Self-Reliant Fund of India. Okay. So the objective of the fund is to provide funding support to daughter funds. So what will happen is that there is this SRI fund. It will finance to some other funds, give money to some other funds, and these would give to MSME. So these some other funds are called daughter funds. Okay. SRI fund has an allocated of rupees 10,000 crore from center and 40,000 crore from private equity. Since its launch in 2021, a total of 4,885 crore has been invested in MSMEs. So this is SRI fund launched in 2021, and it has a corpus of 50,000 crores, 10,000 from central government, 40,000 from private. Okay, that's about it. Now let's move on to our last news item, which is China's Tianwen 2 mission. So China will launch its first mission to survey and sample a near-Earth asteroid. Okay, now asteroids are rocks floating in our solar system that orbit the sun. Now China is going to launch a mission that would land on one such asteroid, okay, collect some samples and bring them back to Earth. The name of the mission is Tianwen 2 mission, and the asteroid that it will collect samples from is known as 469219 Kamoa-Leva. Just remember Kamoa-Leva. Okay. Now Kamoa-Leva is a near-Earth asteroid. Okay, which means it is an asteroid. It orbits the sun. Okay, it is a piece of rock that orbits the sun, but it is close to Earth. That is why it is called near Earth. Now, if China is successful in this mission, then it will belong to an elite group of countries that have landed on an asteroid and brought samples back home. US, Japan, European Union even. Okay, so China would basically join this elite club of countries who have returned samples from celestial bodies in space. Okay. Now about this asteroid, this is a very significant asteroid. So it was discovered in 2016 by Pan-STARRS 1 asteroid survey telescope in Haleakala, Hawaii. Now it is one of the 7 near-Earth asteroids which are also called quasi-satellites. So there are 7 asteroids close to the Earth which are known as quasi-satellites of Earth. Now what do we mean by quasi-satellites? Well, satellites that orbit the sun. So these are asteroids that orbit the sun, but they are very close to the Earth, so much so that they are affected by its gravity. These are called quasi-satellites, and Earth has 7 quasi-satellites. Quasi-satellites are known to shift their orbits over time. That's known. Okay, they do shift their orbits. Now, why is Kamoa-Leva significant? Why do we want to study it? First of all, we need to understand the origin of quasi-satellites. How did they come into being? What shaped their orbit? Okay, there are multiple theories. They say that in some point in history, okay, an asteroid collided with Earth and a chunk of mass was released from Earth that created the moon. It also created smaller chunks that became these near-Earth asteroids. So this theory has not been proved yet. So maybe if you study Kamoa-Leva asteroid properly, you will be able to prove this theory. Okay, then Kamoa-Leva asteroid is also special. It could be the first known asteroid composed of lunar material. If we compare that, the material with which moon is made up of is same as Kamoa-Leva asteroid. If that is so, then we can surely validate that, well, moon originated from a piece of chunk from separated from Earth, and Kamoa-Leva also got separated during that time. Okay, it could also validate our theory of moon, okay, which is known as the impact theory, that a big asteroid collided with Earth, a huge piece of land got separated from Earth, and moon was formed. Okay, so we can validate this theory also. That is why Kamoa-Leva is significant, and that is why China is sending Tianwen mission. Okay, that would be all, and with that we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But like I say this always, it will add further value if you revise this lecture as well. So please do not forget to do that, and I'll see you next time with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.